the idea of making it something profitable and not just NGO by cleaning thing.
We started out as just this beach cleanup organization that was doing kind of CSR events with some awesome companies, Netflix, Skyscanner, PIMCO, HP. We work with a few banks as well. And then we're kind of figuring out, okay, well, how do we actually tackle the problem at source? And obviously taking companies down to educate them about plastic pollution is great.
How many kilos did you remove already?
When this is released, I think we would have hit the 3 million kilo mark of total
Wow,
removal.
3 million kilos? It's insane. Hey everybody, this is Flo and I'm with Ben from 7 Clean Seas. Thank you for joining today. I'm very excited to have you because what you do in Indonesia is one, I think, important for everybody, for the planet, for the people, and it's also one of the important, I think, topic also at the moment when we have people coming to Indonesia and coming to Bali also. We see it on social media about plastic pollution, especially in Indonesia, which is one of the biggest maybe polluter or in terms of pollution, in terms of plastic. And so I'm very happy to have you because you can give us also an insight about the situation, but more than giving insight and just saying, hey, Bali has pollution and blah, 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 or Indonesia has pollution, you also do something for that. And this is not just social media, it's also acting and making something. And it's good to have you because you're also not from Indonesia, so you also come here, not for your own country, but helping also over another place. And you also act, I think, as an entrepreneur and as a foreigner that show that it's also possible to do something in Indonesia instead of just commenting. So thank you for being here.
Thank you so much for having me, Flo. It's an absolute pleasure. And some really kind words as well.
So can you tell us a bit about your story? How the idea maybe came? How did you come to Indonesia?
Yeah.
And I think it can be interesting for people to have your background. Also
Yeah, absolutely. So I guess I'll start with myself. As Flo said, I'm Ben, and I'm originally from the UK. After uni, my academic background's in biological sciences, but after uni, I then immediately moved to Singapore. And when I was in Singapore, I'd never really explored kind of the startup or entrepreneurial area before. Nobody really teaches you about it unless you go out and actively find it. And I was looking around in Singapore for work, and I just happened to stumble across this beach cleanup that was happening. And I then went down to the beach cleanup and met this guy called Tom on the beach cleanup, who was running it for 7 Clean Seas. And we got chatting, and he kind of told me about 7 Clean Seas. He told me what he'd been doing with his wife, Pamela, for like the last 9 years. 9 months. And immediately then I said, okay, this is a brilliant idea. I think we can, take this further and really scale what you have here in terms of, I guess the initial beach cleanup concept. So after I kind of met Tom, I was then doing some other startup stuff at the same time, and then I then co-founded the business with Tom, and from there, we started out as just this beach cleanup organization that was doing kind of CSR events with some awesome companies, Netflix, Skyscanner, PIMCO, HP, some huge names in Singapore, taking them down to the beach, educating
So
them
it
about
was
plastic
a
pollution.
NGO in Singapore at the origin.
It was from the start always a for-profit social enterprise.
Okay.
Because that's a whole other kind of concept, is that why would you start a for-profit social enterprise versus a NGO?
Yeah.
And the reason behind that was because if you're a for-profit social enterprise, you can kind of build something and make it sustainable rather than just continually asking for donations or handouts if you're an NGO.
Yeah. And that's a good point, yeah.
Yeah, and I think if you're going to tackle the problems that we're trying to tackle, especially plastic pollution, you need to firstly find a funding mechanism that is scalable. And secondly, you need to be able to, when ready, take investment and scale up the idea so that you can hopefully go to more locations and expand your idea, expand plastic collection throughout Asia.
I think I will let you finish, but the point that you say about green energy, or I think green or beach cleaning or plastic pollution, the idea of making it something profitable and not just NGO by cleaning things. I just always remember my course in business school where somebody was saying to me, if you make the whales private, people will protect the whales because if they can make money by having the whale private, nobody will allow them to kill them. And if people go into it, they will make money on that and they will scale the things. If you can get money by recycling, people will go to recycle. If you just tell them it's not good for the environment, most of people don't care. Tomorrow they will not be here. Human, I'm sorry, by nature is a bit selfish sometimes.
Definitely.
So if you tell them your grandchildren will have a planet that is not interesting to live, they don't care. What they need, and it's understandable because the first things you want to know is, can I have food tomorrow in my plate? And can I live from my work if tomorrow I have tax or whatever because of the pollution? The first things I want to know is my portfolio and my bank accounts. And so when you make, I think, a solution that is profitable for everybody, you get more people into it, I think. Yes.
Definitely. Exactly. And I guess that's the kind of concept that I always wanted to carry through with Seven Clean Seas, is that, we are almost competing to clean the ocean, or you're competing to protect the planet on a more broader sense. And I kind of like that idea, because if you can make money doing a good thing, and there are plenty of people out there making money doing bad things. So if you can make money doing a good thing, other people are also going to do that good thing, which only amplifies those efforts. And there are so many companies out there competing to clean the ocean almost. And I think always want to advocate for people who are like, oh, I'm going to set up an NGO. It's like, no, why would you not want to try and make money off this thing, and hopefully other people will then copy your idea and amplify that and create a competitive market where the byproduct of profitability or revenue is doing more of the good thing. It's an awesome concept, which I really like.
So you were in Singapore, you were cleaning the beach, you had the idea to scale that.
Exactly.
So you started in Singapore?
Started in Singapore, and it was just a beach cleanup organization when I first met Tom, and then I came on board, and we then were kind of figuring out, okay, well, how do we actually tackle the problem at source? And obviously taking companies down to educate them about plastic pollution is great, but how do you actually solve the problem? And that's really where then we got a phone call from a German fair trade condom company called Einhorn. And they basically called us up and said, hey, look, we have to use plastic in our packaging, but we don't want to. We're sustainable in every other aspect of the organization, but we have to use plastic in our packaging. It's just a necessity. And then they said, look, can we pay you guys to remove plastic waste from the ocean on our behalf? And they were all the way over in Germany, and we were in Singapore. And we said, oh my gosh, this is perfect. Companies need to use plastic waste, and we can compensate for the use of that plastic waste by removing it from the ocean. And that's really where our version, or the first version of kind of plastic offsetting or plastic crediting, came around. And we essentially then said, this is a great idea. Let's start building actual waste management projects across Southeast Asia, and scaling up the, I guess, sales and marketing side of things to talk to more companies and talk to more businesses about plastic credits and essentially compensating for the necessary plastic waste in
So
their
when you
supply
say,
chains.
for people who are listening, when you say
Yeah.
credit, what do you mean? So
What do I mean? That's a great question. Yeah, sorry, I sometimes forget that I'm obviously dealing with this every day. So a plastic credit represents 1,000 kilos of plastic that
Okay.
Seven Clean Seas removes from the environment.
So with your team, you go there, you
Yeah.
remove from the environment.
Yeah.
And how do you get money for that? Or
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. So, we then, after kind of thinking about this idea, we built projects that almost on a daily basis collect plastic from the environment. For every 1,000 kilos that's collected, we then take that back to facilities that we built. We sort and separate that plastic waste. And that action of collecting the plastic generates a plastic credit. That plastic credit we can then sell to corporates. And in exchange, obviously, for then financial compensation, which then piles back in towards the projects and almost funds that collection of plastic waste from the marine environment. So, for example, say Aya Consulting uses 5,000 kilos of plastic every single year, which you don't, I'm sure. You don't, definitely. And 5,000 kilos is about 5 credits. So you would purchase 5 credits from Seven Clean Seas, compensate for that waste, and then we would have to legally go out and collect 5,000 kilos of plastic from the environment on your behalf.
And me, I can use. What's the benefit for the company behind? So
Great question.
Yeah.
That's a great question because more and more now, that is the first question that businesses, CEOs, CFOs as well, will ask, financial controllers. They'll say, okay, this is awesome. Love the initiative, but why are we doing this? And the direction of the market or the plastic credit market that we're operating in, I'd love to see it be, I guess, formalized into extended producer responsibility schemes in some form to essentially tax corporations for the plastic use that they use across their value chain, to disincentivize the use of plastic. Now, that's obviously very difficult to switch out. But if you can tax companies on the amount of plastic that they use in a country or import or export, then it means that you generate kind of a pool of funding that can then be used to build the correct plastic waste management systems.
So you mean the company? So at the end, if I'm a company, I pay you to collect the plastic, and you bring to your waste management system, etc. I get the credit. So this I can use it basically on my annual report, saying that I'm compensating and that so it's more public also relation for the company.
Yeah, there is obviously the marketing side of things.
And I guess
well.
also some government maybe also give some incentive or tax less if the company has.
As we grow, or as not we, but as the market grows, it will definitely go in that direction. Right now, it's still a nascent market in comparison to your other credit markets like carbon credits, for instance. And we've got a long way to go. But when you're looking
at, point, sorry, because it's a very, very good point. You say we have the carbon credit, which exists now since beginning of the 2000, I think it was 2000.
And before,
even in Europe was exists already, and the companies were exchanging carbon credits, and Indonesia as well. So, but we don't have for plastic.
Yeah, and look, there's obviously a lot of faults with the carbon credit market, and it's overcoming those faults. And at the end of the day, it is very much around, okay, well, how do you finance these kind of green actions, or how do you finance reforestation actions, or plastic removal actions, or reforesting and disincentivizing deforestation, etc. But I think these credit markets are so important for all their faults, are so important to be able to generate money for and to go into the right places. It's just the transparency and the accountability that people are getting kind of caught up in at the moment. But that's what we use it for, essentially. We use it we use the plastic credit market to fund our on-the-ground projects to actually make an impact on removing plastic waste from the marine environment and hiring communities or people from communities
So you
that
involve
matter
the
most.
communities. So how did you come to Indonesia on that? Because so you started in Singapore,
Yeah.
and the story is how did you
How did we get here?
and yeah, why you're here
Yeah,
and
why
how
are we here?
yeah
Exactly.
how did you end up here? Yeah, I think
So
it's important because
it is, yeah.
Indonesia. I mean, I've been in Indonesia for quite a while. I think the first time was 2005, and I'm living here 2015. I, I never did what you do, and that's why also I'm very happy to have you here because I've been always very close to the ocean. I mean, I'm a scuba diver, and
Yeah.
I lived in east of Indonesia. I sailed the seas, and I was collecting also plastic, but I saw also the damage of the plastic
For sure,
that
yeah.
we have on the marine life, on the corals, on the environment, and the damage on the reef. And I saw initiative from foreigners. I mean, but it was always very small initiative, you know. And I lived in Papua, and I always take this example because for me it's something that always amazed me for what they do. It's there's a resort in south of Papua in Misol, place Rajampat. They protect their area. They protected everything. They even involve the community because you talk
Yeah.
of the community to also protect their own areas, and we see that without waste, without also having a strong human impact, but at least sustainable. The life is coming back
Yeah.
and developing. So I found this topic very important because the base of the humanity is the sea, because the
Definitely.
oxygen is coming not from
Definitely.
Amazonia, but it's coming from the ocean.
Yeah, for sure.
And plastic is unfortunately as sometimes necessary because we still don't have for everything
Yeah.
the substitution, but the way to collect is and how we can make it maybe like you said a credit or making financially interesting for people is very I think one of the solution. But Indonesia doesn't seems to have a policy themselves to manage that because we saw that for people maybe listening we saw Western country because it's easy also to say Indonesia, but there was a few years back or month I don't remember. We could see a cargo coming from a Western country
Yeah.
and bringing the
That's a
plastic
huge
in
problem.
Malaysia and bringing also in Indonesia. So it's also waste from Indonesia, but waste from the Western world where you
Yeah.
do your recycling in France and at the end your product finish in Indonesia.
You ship
here,
it out.
You
Yeah,
ship
yeah.
here. So how how did you come here? This is what is interesting for me is how do you do it in Indonesia? What how the government is welcoming you or helping you or even we can say not helping you at all, and how do you manage that on the day to day and
Yeah,
how
good,
did you
good question.
yeah
No, it's a good question. I think I'll start with the why we here. So we're here because in Singapore, obviously, it's quite a well-established kind of collection area and collection system. Sorry, and they have incineration and pretty solid end of life. We had opportunity to expand into Indonesia because of our network. So Bintan being 40 minutes away from Singapore, it's an island with around 400,000 people, and mainly holiday resorts, and only a couple of landfills. So there was a lot of opportunity there to say, actually, the end of life isn't that great because it just goes to landfill, and collection activity isn't expansive across the island. So there's there are areas where we can firstly set up and rent a facility or build a facility. And then there's lots of communities that we can hire individuals from to go out and collect plastic waste from those communities that they come from. And it just happened very naturally with Bintan. We, I identified a leader in Indonesia called Siti Kuzamati, and she now runs our general manager operations in Indonesia, and she essentially helped build Bintan, which was our first project, up from the ground up, and that really helps, I guess, inception into Indonesia. Is you need to identify people who are extremely passionate about the topic that you're working on and will carry your vision. And there is obviously guidance from, Tom and myself, but ultimately it's City that is building those relationships and creating that project, and I guess then generating that impact. And that's the best way, I would say, to enter into Indonesia, is you find someone on the ground that you trust, and you help and manage those teams and build those HR operations, legal operations, to then get the project to where you need it to be. But without community buy-in and without government buy-in, your project's definitely going to flop. You need to have those two from top down. And then I guess in terms of the government, they're extremely welcoming. If you say that you're going to help with a topic that you know is a pain point, then there's obviously a few legal processes that you go through, but we sign MOUs whenever we enter with the local governments and local environmental agencies whenever we enter a location, which allow us to operate and give us almost a grace to operation, which is absolutely fantastic. And that alone, having that support and that backing on a document, when we've got our first one, we were just so proud. And now it's just standard practice.
So in Indonesia, on the legal, are you set up as what we call a yayasan, which is
yeah. So in Indonesia, we help set up a yayasan, and
so for people who are listening, yayasan is a kind of NGO. It's in Indonesia, so you can, as a foreigner, you can make one, or you can have a local partner that is one of the founder, or if you have also a company, your company can be the foundation, one of the founder of the yayasan in Indonesia. If you want, as a foreigner, just a quick brief, make a yayasan yourself as a founder, you need to have a state permit first to become one of the founder, otherwise it's a local person. When you have a local person, the capital is a bit lower, so it's much easier at the beginning. Just for people.
No, for sure, and obviously that is your
because if you have the idea, you want also to do something for the environment. I think, or for the community or whatever, it's possible to make NGO here.
And that, going back onto kind of the for-profit versus the NGO model, that hybrid model really helps us out with. Controlling, identifying areas where we need to implement funding and obviously fund different projects, and makes the money allocation very, very easy for us, which means that we have full transparency. So if, you pay for a plastic credit or you pay for a service with 7 Clean Seas, you can see end to end exactly where that money's going, which for clients and partners, especially multinational corporations, is so important. We work with a few banks as well, and obviously due diligence from banks is really big, so we have to be very, very clear about where that money's going, and
of course,
who are we ultimately helping on the end of it.
So especially when you work with big corporation, there's some procedure and control and compliance and where when you say bank, you also work with bank in Indonesia, or is the overseas bank?
No, it's overseas.
Who are your clients? So without giving the name, I don't know if it's confidential, but it would be interesting for me also to understand, because I love Indonesia and I love Bali,
Yeah, yeah.
obviously, and I've been in Indonesia like I said, for a few years
Hmm.
now. It's my second home, and like I said, I love the ocean, and I believe that this is the origin of everything, and this is what we need to protect, maybe
Yeah,
the most.
definitely.
And Bali has made a lot of saying. We have there is another interesting NGO. I think it's Bye Bye Plastic Bag or something
Yeah,
with
yeah.
the young
Fantastic.
lady and things. It's beautiful initiative of what
Hmm.
she's doing. But the reality is that when you go to Bali, they say that there is no plastic, but it's not true.
Yeah.
For today, it's fine because we are, I think, on a nice studio and the straw is not in plastic, etc. But you go to many restaurants in Bali, you have straw everywhere.
Yeah.
You go to the supermarket, except uh, two or three brands that are very famous, Pepito, to not say them. They don't give you bags; they give you tissue bag, and that you
Yeah,
need to
yeah, yeah.
buy. But most of them, you still have plastic bag everywhere, and they give you two, three times the
Yeah.
plastic bag. So saying Bali is plastic free, like we heard 4 or 5,
It's tough.
it's
It's
not
really hard.
true. It's not true.
Yeah.
So the interesting part for me is from association like you that or organization, I would say, because NGO and NPO is not you can be NGO and make profit, so you're not non-profit, but uh, organization like you is interesting. Is how do you deal with the government in reality every day, and which companies? Because I
Hmm.
have the impression also, and I want to be wrong on that, that also companies are interested on that.
Definitely.
I want to, when I go to Jakarta, because we also have our office in Jakarta, south of Jakarta is super clean. I mean, if
Mm.
you go to the new areas, it's super clean. There is no plastic everywhere.
Yeah.
I think they they did well in terms of development, etc. So I'm very happy with what I see. But when I see that we are moving the capital to south of Kalimantan, I know that we are moving a lot of things. So
Mm.
it's not very eco-friendly to build a new city. But anyway, let's say it is. How do you deal on the day to day? Do you have the support? So I understand that you have, and I think it's important, like you said, when you come here to have a local person like you that is helping you. But
Definitely. Yeah.
which company? I mean, I want. Is it bank? Is it
Yeah.
people who are? It's very interesting for me to know.
Yeah, so in terms of kind of our clients, they range. It's from a broad range of kind of sectors. So with the services that we offer, we can work with nearly everyone. Some of the people that we have worked with are people like the Supreme Committee of Delivery and Legacy. We actually helped them to deliver the world's first plastic neutral FIFA World Cup. So that was back at the FIFA World Cup back in Qatar. So the team worked with the Supreme Committee of Delivery and Legacy to help build the world's first methodology to measure plastic pollution
Okay.
at a mega event. Which was a fantastic project that was run by our technical director, Ollie. And the result of that then helped kind of reduce and identify areas to reduce the plastic waste until they kind of get down to a necessary amount that needs to be used. And then that was then compensated for by funding the removal of plastic from the ocean with our impact projects, which are across Indonesia as well as in kind of Thailand and expanding throughout Southeast Asia. So we work with them. We work with a bank called Luna. We've worked with them for a couple of years now, which is absolutely fantastic. We are part of their Project Blue. Luna is a digital bank in Denmark.
Okay, in Denmark.
So yes, don't get that wrong. So yeah,
Okay.
Luna's a digital bank in Denmark, and they actually help And sorry, we're part of their Project Blue, and users then can donate towards Seven Clean Seas to remove plastic from the ocean. Every quarter, Luna removes huge amounts of kilos of plastic from the oceans with Seven Clean Seas. So, mega events, banks. We also work with kind of a lot of consumer packaged goods companies. There's a fantastic soda in, if there's any Australian listeners, called Not Soda. It's in Australia. And for every can that's sold, we remove the equivalent weight of 2 plastic bottles directly from the marine environment.
So do you have Indonesian companies here?
We have Asia-based or APAC-based organisations. We've worked with kind of Maybank before in the past.
Okay, cool.
City Development Limited is another fantastic organisation doing really incredible steps towards their sustainability goals. In Indonesia specifically, we don't work with any Indonesian HQ'd companies. It's much more MNCs that are spread across APAC or spread across globally. Just because I think those companies that are or have a global presence and a presence across APAC have those kind of audacious sustainability goals, which is amazing. But then they obviously need support and need partners to help achieve those goals.
If you're an Indonesian company, or if you're a foreigner that have a company here, if you are concerned by the plastic pollution in Indonesia,
give us a call.
Please call them.
Give us a buzz.
This is your home. Their team are doing a fantastic job to collect. So you're an Indonesian company, you're small, big, or medium, just call.
Give us a call and we can see if we can help you out with the sustainability goals.
Indonesia is a beautiful country that has to be taken care. It's not the companies that are from outside that have to take care of what's happening here. I mean, they have to. But
I was going to say, yes,
they have
everyone
to,
has to.
But not only.
Not only.
It's
Exactly.
not only company that's from outside.
Yeah.
So, for example, even my company, I want to participate. How does it work? What's the cost? For example, is it because maybe like a company like me, if we want to participate, I'm thinking, how much it will cost to me, This is I think is important. Do you have also something, a scale or different, I don't know, price or whatever? How does it work,
Yeah, no. So, we depending on obviously the company, to remove 1,000 kilos of plastic waste costs $2,000 USD. And,
1,000 kilo.
1,000 kilos, so one plastic credit is
Wow.
2,000 USD.
Yeah.
It's obviously quite expensive, especially in comparison to the carbon markets.
Yeah.
As the company scales or as the amount of plastic that you want to remove scales, that
So it's $2 per kilo.
$2 per kilo, and I think that's obviously a much more digestible amount. To pay a company to remove a kilo of plastic, $2 USD. It's pocket change.
But for example,
to a lot of
can we do it? I don't know. Let's say I want to collect or to participate for $500 per month to help you to collect. Is it possible?
Definitely.
Or do I have to
Absolutely.
pay only 2,000?
No.
Because for a company like
sure.
me or other small companies, they may think, 2,000. If you're a bank, if you're BNI, Mandiri or whatever, $2,000 is nothing.
A couple
so
dollars is absolutely
you can
fine.
make more.
For
but
sure.
for a small company. Maybe it can be challenging. So do you have this kind of
the commitments can vary, and we obviously appreciate that. And we understand that, and that's why we work with companies of all sizes, not just huge companies like Microsoft, FIFA World Cup, etc. But we work with smaller startups because we believe if we support them and help them market the good that they're doing and communicate the impact that they're having, they will scale. And as they scale, they'll remove more plastic with us per month. So there's no minimums. If you wanted to remove 500 USD per month, that's absolutely possible. And we can then remove 250 kilos for you per month. It's a huge amount, adds up over years. And some of our best clients have started out on, removing $20 per month or whatever.
So-
And now they're removing huge volumes of plastic waste.
So in Indonesia, per year, I don't know, per month
Mm-hmm.
or whatever, how many kilos did you remove already?
Oh,
Or
yeah.
per year, yeah.
So when this is released, I think we would have hit the 3 million kilo mark of total
Wow.
removal. Yeah, which is a massive milestone. So we're on like 2.9
3 million kilos.
3 million kilos, 3,000 tons, which is a huge amount of plastic waste. And you know,
I
we're
don't-
obviously very
you know,
proud of that.
this is the kind of numbers. I'm happy in the same time that it's huge. You remove it.
Oh yeah, but you're also like.
But in the other
It's-
hand, 3 million kilos.
yeah.
It's
insane.
You know, it's insane.
That there's that much that we can collect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can you imagine still the amount that is still in the nature? You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
exactly.
So it's beautiful, but in the same time, it's scary.
Yeah,
you know?
very
The-
true.
yeah.
Very true. And I think, you know, and that's the point, is that you can so often get caught in worrying about the issue that you forget about the solutions. And I think you need to stay focused on the solutions. And I'm not just talking about Seven Clean Seas. I'm
Yeah.
talking about, you know, plastic alternatives from seaweed, which is upstream, and solutions around that, and then, you know, measurement and reduction solutions and policy solutions. So there's almost this kind of group effort from consumers, businesses and governments that we're all working together to find that kind of moment where
but-
it all works and
I totally agree. You know, I mean, like you say supply chain or
Yeah.
chain, and I think there is no one solution. We need seven
Definitely.
P's to, of course, to clean and to also help, because plastic in any case will be always here until we have petrol, because that's the fact. But there is alternatives. There's alternatives.
Yeah, there is.
And
Yeah.
you mentioned seaweed, but I saw sugar can be as
Yeah.
strong as you have even cigarettes. People are making with the bud of cigarettes. You can still make things and
Yeah.
materials, mushroom. There is many options. There is not only one. When I see a mushroom, okay, mushroom is not going to save the world, but it's something that you can use.
It is,
Seaweed is
it
something
is.
you can use, and plus, at the end, you have something bigger.
exactly.
But it's also ourselves, I think, in Indonesia when we come. I was going to Ubud a few days back. People who are listening knows that we also help people on properties. People are making houses here, okay? They are making construction. I have developers. We have clients are developers. And I was going to Ubud, and there is this river in Ubud, valley, you know, with a river.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And I saw a truck from a contractor. I have the video. I didn't publish but we have these videos of this contractor taking everything and throwing every
Oh,
waste
Yeah.
in the valley and in the river.
Yeah.
And I think as a client from the contractor,
Yeah.
when you build your house, you have to ask them where they put their waste. You
That
have
is
to
a
ask
good
them
point.
where things go. We are all responsible.
Yeah.
Because we can go after on Sunday cleaning the beach and removing the waste and saying, yeah, we did something well. Good.
Exactly.
But
Very true.
if during our purchase we don't ask where the things are going,
Yeah.
it makes no sense. You know what I
Very
mean?
true.
And I think it's very important, because that's why I love Bali, because also the good things is, and the local population, because you go on the weekend, you see people also trying to clean I say buy plastic bag, all these things. It's very good initiative and beautiful. So, and Indonesian, I think young generation and more
Oh, definitely,
sensitive.
100%.
There is a beautiful also Netflix documentary where we see a guy leaving from Bali with his truck or car and going to Jakarta and making I don't remember, I mean, stops and talking about plastic. So initiative is beautiful, and you have beautiful people here doing it, but we have on our day-to-day say no. We have to ask also to people, you build that? No, I don't want that. So you have to, when you have a straw, but yeah, you say no. I mean, it's simple things that make us responsible. Or also, for example, we have a company, an office here, and we pay the collecting garbage. It's crazy because the guy we pay him 3 times a day, okay, a week. I say no, I cannot come 3 times a week because in any case I don't know where to put the garbage.
Yeah.
So,
It's end of life is.
So this is very interesting. So how did you build you on your side also this waste? What do you do? Because you collect.
What do we do with the waste?
Yeah, what do you do
Yes.
with the waste? This
That-
is very important because let's say me too, I want to collect. In Bali, I have a lot of garbage.
Where does it go?
Where does it
Yeah.
go? And can we give to you? I don't know. Can you bring something to it, please?
So, yeah, it's a fantastic question because there's almost a step-by-step approach when we enter a location. It's understanding, okay, well, what's being done with the waste that is being collected right now. Most of the time they go to government-run landfills, and I think it's understanding that and saying, okay, well, that's the state. At least it's not in the ocean. All right, we're gonna try and improve this and get this to the next step, because the way you process waste is almost in a waste hierarchy, and that bottom layer is landfill, government landfill, hopefully. And where we're at now with Seven Clean Seas is that the waste that we collect all types of waste, high value recyclable plastics, low value non-recyclable plastics, flexible plastics, etc. And we take that all back to our facilities in every location. We sort it and separate it into the different waste streams. So PET, which is water bottles, HDP, which is the bottle caps, and PP, etc. And then the non-recyclable plastic waste. We sort it, and then now what we've just been investing in is recycling equipment, so shredding equipment, hot press, so we can kind of press the machinery or press that plastic waste down into sheets. And one of the initiatives that we're working on, which is really exciting, is we're looking to turn non-recyclable plastic waste into corrugated roof plates to replace the asbestos roof plates that are currently being used in the communities in the locations that we operate in. So asbestos being a harmful material, replacing that with kind of more durable, safer plastic, recycled plastic roof tiles is just one of those initiatives. The other one is also making bricks out of that plastic waste as well, which the project department are doing a fantastic job. Levin's leading that, and we've now got kind of a solid recycled plastic brick waste brick, which is awesome, and then that will be then used for construction after testing. So there's very innovative things that are happening within Seven Clean Seas, but to, I guess, really scale these solutions, we do need to work collaboratively to understand the market and what end-of-life solutions are happening elsewhere. There are some awesome things happening. I know Sungai Watch built an entire Airbnb, or it might be an Airbnb or a house out of recycled plastic planks, which is just an awesome kind of, I guess, end-of-life solution if you can't mechanically recycle that plastic. It's just understanding what the hell do we do with it once we've got it. And I think a lot of people are like, yeah, let's clean the ocean, but what that comes with is a whole host of social issues around waste, informal workers, child labour, which need to be solved. It comes with what do you do with the waste once you collect it, and it comes with how the hell are you going to fund it. And I think that those three things are so difficult to overcome, and it's one of the main reasons why we still have this waste problem.
I understand you collect, you have your process of recycling. How do you give back in your life to the plastic? Do you find people who purchase this plastic in Indonesia after to put back in the production, in the supply chain?
Yeah, exactly. So in terms of the other plastics that we're not turning into, roof tiles or bricks, we are currently storing that plastic. So storing the PET, the HDP, and the PP, because it's obviously valuable. It's recyclable. We can create kind of at least somewhat circular initiatives out of that. And we're currently looking for, I guess, the right partner to collaborate on and using that material.
Okay, so
to
Danone,
create.
you're a French company, okay? You own Aqua in Indonesia, okay? So if you listen, they have a lot of plastic that you can reuse, okay?
Yeah, so
Please.
companies that are looking for recycled
Danone,
plastics.
you listen, huh? Please.
So yeah, exactly. So we got any companies looking for recycled plastics,
Yeah.
just give us a call and we can have a chat.
Yeah.
Because that we're looking for buyers, we're looking for off takers.
Yeah, or even in Bali, you have beautiful also companies and foreigners. If you need plastic or primary
for
plastic,
whatever
whatever,
reason, yeah.
for any reason you have, I don't know, you want to make new clothing from
Yeah, new clothing,
plastic,
more.
things. Yeah, you
Exactly.
can call.
Yeah, give us a buzz. Lots of reasons to call us. I appreciate it. You're plugging us a lot, which is great. I love it. But yeah, no, circularity has been a massive challenge, and I don't think it's just a challenge for us. I think it's a challenge for everyone in the industry. So it's a lot of teamwork, a lot of collaboration, a lot of logistics, and to try and work out something that works for that location, because location to location it also changes as well.
Yeah,
So
of course. So, and when you work with the community, you say so you have a staff from Indonesia. How do you, how many people work, I would say, with you
Yes.
or collaborate? And how do you see their passion about that? Do you have the impression they work because, of course, they are paid, I guess. But do they have their understanding of the issue, or do you see that they are more aware about the problem? Yeah.
Definitely. People that work with Seven Clean Seas and our crews and collectors on the ground. We send out questionnaires to understand. Firstly, what their previous kind of background was, where have they come from, and also what they want to do, what are their aspirations, but then also what about their knowledge of plastic waste. And as a result of those questionnaires, a lot of the people that we work with Seven Clean Seas and are in our team understand the plastic pollution issue more, and then are more akin to actually being greener in their lives as well. But in terms of the team, I mean, we've got 89 full-time formal collectors now. 89 full-time.
Wow, beautiful.
Yes, it's amazing.
That's crazy.
So which is 89 people that we are, paying BPJS on, healthcare. They get maternity, paternity. They work Monday to Fridays, set hours. And they have pretty much just a normal job, just like you or anyone else.
So you're not a small
So in
company
total,
now,
I think we're just tipping over 100 now in terms of total employees. So we've got obviously the HQ team
in Indonesia or with Singapore.
With Singapore and obviously with then Thailand as well. So we're not a small company, and I think we've got a lot of people's salaries to pay, and a lot of people to support, and it's just awesome seeing what we can do for these communities when we do something at scale. And I guess it's not even at scale yet. We're still scaling up, and I think we can make more impact, which is awesome.
So you see also your employees. You say you check their background and their knowledge. So I guess people already had an idea about the company. But do you see them very passionate about that?
Definitely.
Yeah.
The team are awesome. They are so passionate, so friendly, always have a smile on their face, and they get stuck in, and we visit obviously very regularly to each of the projects. And the teams and City do a fantastic job of managing them and making sure that it's an environment that people want to work for, which is important on the ground where the impact happens, all the way through the company. And I think culture from a business perspective is so important because it bleeds throughout the organization, and it then becomes the lifeblood of the organization. So showing empathy and passion, really, I try and show that as much as possible to make sure that it comes through the whole way through.
And do you have difficulty? Because this is also, I think, sometimes as a company or business owner is the recruitment, and because you say you're looking for people who have a certain background or a certain knowledge. How is the recruitment, for example, in Indonesia for
Yeah.
that? Is it something easy? Is it something difficult?
Oh, it's
Because
been amazing. I like the talent here in Indonesia is fantastic. We've got some awesome people in the team. We've had some awesome people in the team who have gone on now to do some wicked stuff. And I absolutely love. We work with, I can't remember what it is. I think it's something like 11 nationalities in the organization.
wow,
And majority obviously Indonesian. And yeah, I absolutely love working. Talent's super easy to find. So I guess this is directed at people who are looking to set up companies here.
yeah,
Do it. It's amazing. And you will always find the right person for what you're looking for. We primarily source candidates through LinkedIn,
LinkedIn, yeah,
which is the easiest way.
yeah. This is what I found
Yeah.
the easiest in Indonesia is through LinkedIn. There is other platform, but I think on LinkedIn, usually the quality is much better and easier to find.
Yeah. And
yeah.
you know, you run it for a couple of weeks and you
Yeah.
get a load of good candidates
Yeah.
through. And
And most people, yeah, you have because Indonesia is huge,
Yeah.
and education is not the same everywhere in Indonesia.
Yeah.
Okay, you have few cities that have most of the universities or interest
Yeah.
good universities is a good I mean, it's a good question for me, but maybe is where people are coming. Do you know?
Yeah, good question.
Is it, yeah.
Yeah, so
Is it more educated people, or is it, people from Jakarta, Jakarta?
oh yeah. So I'll separate this out because on the ground, all of the people that we hire from the communities that we collect from.
Okay, so it's directly from the community.
Yeah, directly from the communities.
That's great because
Yeah.
you involved local people.
You need to.
people,
You know,
yeah.
we couldn't bring people over from Jakarta to do
Yeah.
work in Bintan
Yeah.
or Batam.
That's good.
We'd
That's
have to,
very good.
yeah. So we hire from the local communities, but for the, I guess, operational teams like the project team, finance team, etc., sales team, marketing, we hire from all over Indonesia.
Okay.
Because we just look for skill set and background, and obviously culture fit from a business perspective. And yeah, we've got a lot of people from Bandung, a lot of
Okay.
people from Jakarta.
Yeah.
We and you know those areas, and in our operational team, you know.
So English and communication is easy, no? It's
Yeah,
okay.
yeah, definitely, yeah. And you know, obviously, I'm learning Bahasa Indonesian, and I'm just terrible at languages though. So, but there's no excuse. There's no excuse. So, yeah, I'm learning that, and that's obviously as a result of just working with very on the ground teams
Yeah.
from very local communities in island locations like Bintan and Batam, but then also working with you know, people from Jakarta and Bandung.
So it's good for people who
It's
listen.
amazing.
If they want to make something here, a company or NGO, you have the ability to find good people.
Definitely, yes.
Yeah.
And you know, English is not a problem. You know, extremely good English levels if you are kind of looking to scale up teams here. There's you know, just equally as passionate and hardworking and friendly and individuals, and it just makes me smile because we've got so many good people in the team.
Yeah, I think we could speak
Oh,
hours
for sure,
for
for sure.
everything. How if people companies here are interested to connect?
Yes.
So Seven
Yeah.
Clean Seas.
Seven Clean Seas.
.com.
sevencleanseas.com, ben at sevencleanseas.com. You can drop me an email. Yeah, drop me a message on Instagram. LinkedIn is amazing. And yeah, just reach out if you want to, even if you just want to chat,
If
like
you
yourself.
want to chat, yeah. So Indonesia, it's easy if you want to make something. I mean, it's easy. You have a procedure. You have to work with the community, like
Definitely,
you said.
definitely.
But it's possible. You want
Yeah.
to do something. You want to make an NGO. You want to make a business that has impact and then value. There's a lot of things to do. There's a waste, okay, for people saying always in Bali there is waste, there is waste. We saw this
Yeah.
reels at the moment. But if there is that, there is solution. There is opportunity. Come here, make something, make a business, do recycling, buy the plastic from the plastic from them, buy the credit. Because basically we can do two things. We can buy your credit,
Yep.
and we can buy also back maybe the plastic that you have. So we can do something.
Exactly.
We can do something.
We
The
can.
future in Indonesia can be beautiful. There is a beautiful place, and I'm sure the government also, if you listen, please, please also help initiative. Subvention is important, I think, also sometimes, because I think this is also what the West also did. Like France, we love subvention, but I think this is also what help companies and NGO, NPO, whatever, and companies. If you help them, it's good for the image of your government. It's good for the companies also, because the infrastructure, the environment where they live is cleaner, the business is easier and faster, and you attract more people, and etc. etc. So, government, companies, individuals, it's here. Seven
Yeah,
Cleanses.
it is.
Thank you so
I
much for
appreciate it. No,
listening.
thank you so
And
much,
thank you
Flo.
for coming. It was a pleasure to
Yeah,
talk with
absolute
you.
legend.
Thank you.